Hi guys, Assalamualaikum and greetings. So in this chapter, we're going to learn on the creativity and innovation. Basically, there are two things that we're going to learn, which is about creativity itself and also the innovation. Now, as for the introduction, why do entrepreneurs need to be creative? As you know, entrepreneurs are the one that actually create new products, okay? So they constantly need to be creative in discovering new opportunities, especially in terms of products or services that they would like to invent or innovate. Okay, so innovation will start with the idea generation. Okay, with a good idea, then you have the mind that actually create that particular products, which comes from a creative mind of the entrepreneur or the individual. So what is actually creativity? What is actually innovation? So actually, we first start with an idea. Okay, where ideas are actually things or what we have thought. Okay, it comes from a new way of thinking, a new way of doing things. Okay, because when you do things, okay, it always start with an idea because you have something in your mind, okay, which this is the starting point of creativity and innovation. So without ideas, there can never be anything creative or innovative. So next one is the creativity. So it is actually a process of gathering and generating new ideas. Okay, so sometimes you can say that ideas and creativity has to come together. All right. So because this creativity is actually the idea generation, and it can be simple or complex. And when you know the word creativity, it is actually comes from the word create. Okay, so what is created or generated is actually the ideas just now. So now what about innovation? Actually, innovation is the creativity that is being implemented. Okay, that means you are putting the idea into practice and it add value to the idea. Let's look further on this creativity. Now, creativity is when you are merging of ideas which have not been merged before, and then you form by developing the current ones within our mind. That means you have something in your mind that you have thought of, and then after that, you start to explore further on that idea, and then you come out with something new, right? This is when you are able to use your imagination to develop the new ideas, new things, or even new solutions. All right. So this new idea generation, okay, that results in improved efficiency or effectiveness of a system, then can be actually turned into innovation. Like I mentioned just now, where innovation is when you have the creativity that been implemented, or you actually converting the idea into something that can be useful, right? So the process of bringing something new into being is when you come up with that particular innovation. Now let's look at the creativity components. There are three components, which are the knowledge, motivation, and also of course you need the skills, okay, the creativity skill. Now, the knowledge, before you start to think, okay, because to be creative, you must know first, okay, you must understand subject with the ability to use it if applicable. All right, and it will encompasses expertise, your familiarities, the skills and practical as well as the theoretical understanding of a subject. And it can be done by individual through study or experience. The second element, which is motivation. Now, what motivates people? All right, so these are actually the driving force that initiates one to behave on certain way or certain behavior, and it is also driving someone to do something, right? Then this motivation can be in a form of either extrinsic or intrinsic. The extrinsic motivation comes from outside the person, such as when you are wanting to have some recognition or rewards or praises, all right? While the intrinsic motivation are actually from the person's internal desire to do something, because the satisfaction that they will actually get from that particular challenges or getting the pleasure of completing a task. Okay, next one is the creativity or creative thinking skills. Now, you don't have to worry if, let's say, you say that I'm not a creative person, because you can actually gain the skills. All right. So the use of creative intelligence, okay, to approach problems and solution can be done. All right, in 4 styles, which are, first one is intuitive. The intuitive is actually focuses on the results and relies on the past experience to guide actions. And then you can learn from these failures by avoiding the repetition on that particular action. So intuitive actually comes when you have the guts, or what you have, like somehow or other you call it like your sixth sense, or you somehow or other know, you trust your heart instead of your brain. Okay, because of your past experience, or somehow or other you think or you feel that it is actually the right way of doing it. Okay, that is intuitive. But not everybody has this particular intuitive, so you can actually go for innovative, which is focus on the issues at hand and evidences in front of you. Okay, this is when you can actually carry out experiments by applying theoretical concept to a particular problem. And then you may also conduct experiment to verify the facts. Okay, so there are many ways of you conducting that particular experiments, or you try and error first. Okay, that is innovative. Next one is imaginative. Okay, so when you talk about imaginative, you're talking about your brain. Okay, unlike the intuitive just now, it is about your feelings, your heart saying. But in imaginative, you're talking about how you can actually imagine, okay, adapted with some chaos, where you may have some strong sense of confidence to influence everyone, which allow envision and plan for the future course of action. And then you are able to visualize opportunities, and especially you can think outside the box. And then the inspirational ways of doing it. So inspirational is when you are inspired. Okay, you can actually also inspire your followers. All right, and like when you have this strong social awareness and also score very high on some affiliations for people, then you can focus on social change, and it will give one, sorry, it and the giving of self towards an end. Meaning to say, in this inspirational, you may want to put yourself in the shoes in trying to solve the problem, or you may want to look at how other people are doing things, and then you try to actually adapt to that particular situation, and then you move with that particular things or the idea into how it can actually solve your problems. Now, you can do this creativity by using many techniques. Okay, so in this ENT300, we're going to learn these 6 creativity techniques, which are brainstorming, mind mapping, force analogy, trivialistic lateral thinking, and also problem reversal. Later on, I will actually get you to do some exercise on this particular creative techniques. Yeah. So let's first look at problem reversal. Problem reversal is just so easy. This is where you are looking at the problem first, and then you reverse it in the way that you look at the opposite of things. See things inside out, backwards, or even upside down. And then you turn the defeat into victory. Meaning to say, you create first the negative statement, then you make it the positive statement of it. For example, when you talk about how to actually wake up early, so it's so difficult to find the ways of waking up early, so might as well you do the problem reversal in the way that how to make you wake up late. Okay, so from that particular statement, which is negative already, right? Wake up late, how to wake up late, so it's easy to say wake up late by sleeping late. Okay, so from the word sleeping late just now you want to turn it into reverse, which is the positive or the opposite side of it. Instead of you sleep late to wake up late, meaning to say you need to sleep early so that you can wake up early. Okay, so that is problem reversal. Next one is the force analogy. This force analogy is when you gain new insights by forcing a relationship between almost anything. Alright, it can be anything at all, and then you develop new ideas by looking at the product combination. For example, you can talk about, let's say, an aeroplane and also the helicopter. Okay, so they are totally different things, but of course you can see some relationship, which are like, okay, these are things that can fly. Okay, and then you may want to look at in terms of the wings of the aeroplane, okay, which are similar to the helicopter. Helicopter, they don't have wings, but they do have the propellers. Okay, and then aeroplane, what else, what is about aeroplane? So you can talk about anything that is totally different, but somehow or other they must have, or they are forced to be uh, described as something that are similar or having some relationship between the two or even three. Okay, so you can have, let's say, a pencil and also a car. So you may want to look at what are these the similarity or the common things about the pencil and also the car. For example, pencil, it won't work without a human being. It will be just a stick like that if you don't have a person to actually use it, isn't it? So a car also something like that, because if you don't have a driver, then the car won't move, isn't it? So these are the force analogy kind of creativity technique that you can use to find out any relationship. Okay, next one is the attribute listing. Attribute listing is so easy. That means you are actually listing all the attributes of a product. Okay, you break down the thing into smaller parts, like for example your phone. So you know there is a phone. Okay, so what about your phone? What are the attributes of your phone? What can your phone do? So you list down, the phone can take pictures, listen to the music, play games, make a voice changer. What else? Can used to send emails, make your assignment. I don't know how you make your assignment using your phone. Okay, so you list down all of those things, and then you go and look at each and every items and how can you actually improve them. So that's why you can see that Apple, for example, when they come out with the new iPhone, they keep on improving their cameras, okay, the battery life, what else, the screen sensitivity or the screen clarity, and so on. So from that small parts, okay, that small parts of that particular product, you can actually further develop a new one or an improved version of it. Okay. Next is the mind mapping. This is so easy. I think you know what is actually mind map, which it starts in the center of a page with the main idea and then works outward in all directions, producing a growing and also organized structure composed of keywords and also key images. So you start with one thing in the middle, okay, like mind map, the normal mind map that you ever seen. Okay. Next one is the brainstorming. So what is actually brainstorming? It is actually generating ideas based on the principles of suspending judgment. In this brainstorming, you are actually trying to find ideas. Okay, you are forcing, you call it, you brainstorm, meaning you put storm to your brain. You think, you force your brain to think of the ideas without any judgment. That means regardless that ideas are good or bad, there's no such thing as bad ideas. Okay, in brainstorming activity, typically people will concern with the quantity of the ideas instead of the quality of the ideas. So it can be any ideas that you can throw, but nobody can actually judge about the idea. But what can people do is actually from that one idea that people have thrown, then you try to develop new ideas from that idea. Meaning you somehow rather feel like, oh, okay, with that idea, I have another idea, which is perhaps maybe a better one, but you don't judge whether it's a better one or not yet. Okay, so the brainstorming activities is actually just to find out the ideas. Then later, you will be able to actually filter those ideas to think of whether that particular ideas are workable or logical or not. Okay, that is in brainstorming. And lastly, the lateral thinking. So this lateral thinking is when you are exploring multiple possibilities and approaches from different perspectives rather than pursuing in a conventional, logical, step-by-step single approach. Basically, lateral thinking is you don't even get rid, or sorry, you don't even think outside the box, but you just get rid of the box, okay, and think it from different perspective. Okay, so somehow or other people may think that, okay, this person always wake up late because he's lazy. Okay, so that is literal thinking, because literally you see people who always come late are lazy. But you may want to look at other possibilities or other reasons why this particular person actually come late. Okay, always come late. Perhaps he or she doesn't have a car. Okay, he or she lives like 100 kilometers away, you don't know. Okay, so that particular lateral thinking means you are actually looking at some other possibilities or reasons why something happened, not just from this particular conventional or logical way of seeing things. All right, so that is actually allowing you to think creatively. So basically creative process, yeah. Now looking at the creative process itself, it has 4 phases. The first one is actually background or knowledge accumulation, and the second phase will be the incubation process, and then the third phase is idea experience, and fourth phase is the evaluation and implementation. Now, what happened in phase one? As you are actually trying, like I told you just now, in order for you to think creatively, to get an idea, you first must have the knowledge, right? Okay, so how do you want to get the knowledge? That means you need to do some background or knowledge accumulation. Of course, you need to find information lah, right? This is where you study the subject matter, seek and gather information through some observation, you do some readings, you do some research, you Google here and there, okay? Or even you can attend meetings, workshops, discussion, you go and meet some experts, you go to the academicians, you do some research, okay? So that you will be exposed to a variety of perspectives. Okay, the second phase, this is when you do this mind incubation process. Okay, now it allows the creativity to work on it. All right, so what you do is that you start to think, which some immerse in idea and allow the subconscious mind to ponder on the information gathered. Right, so you start to think, you try to imagine. Okay, remember the being imaginative, right? So then later ideas will emerge. Okay, when we are somehow or rather do something that we never thought of, like when sometimes you may find ideas at the time when you never thought of that particular problem. That's why some even there are research said that most people find useful ideas when they are in the bathroom. Okay, so yeah, when you are taking your shower or you're doing your business in the toilet, okay, somehow or other you may pop the idea. Okay, so some people do some what they call these mindless activities, like doing some painting, you meditate, okay, or you are actually playing some board games or doing some sports activities, and suddenly you somehow or other get the idea. Okay, and then that is what we call the third phase, which is the idea experience, which the discovery of the idea or solution to the problems, right? So this is actually the most exciting phase, as appear out of the blue and incrementally. So you somehow or other know that there is that what you call the eureka moment. You have that light bulb moment, like ting, you have that light bulb on your head. That means you are actually getting the idea and then knowing the solution to the problem, right? And then phase 4, which is the evaluation and implementation, which of course it is the most difficult one because it requires courage, discipline, and also perseverance. With high level of persistencies and also patience, okay, you try to actually implement the idea into the uh, product or the services that you would like to create just now, and do not easily give up, as many failures before successful is actually proven. Like who's the one that actually created the light bulb again? I forgot. What was his name? Okay, you know him. Okay, was it? It's not like Alexander Graham Bell. It's the, was it Thomas Edison who created the light bulb? I think Thomas Edison, right? So he failed many times, okay, like 100 times before he's able to actually light up a bulb, right? So you do a lot of modification of the ideas. You try and test it, trial and error. You fail and then you do it again and try until you actually find that solution or make it work. All right, so that is the evaluation and implementation phase. Okay. Next one, innovation itself, right? So this is actually a process where entrepreneurs convert opportunities into marketable ideas, and it refers to the implementation of the creativity ideas that put through in product and services. Okay, so innovation is also the ability to apply creative solution to enrich and enhance the people's life. So that's when you have some new products every day or every year you will come out. Every time when people launch new product or companies launch new products, okay, you thought that, oh, okay, this is something that is better than the previous one. So that is actually innovation. Now, there are many types of innovation. Okay, so the first one is actually an invention, which this is the first invention ever. Okay, which a creation of totally new product and service. Okay, like the aeroplane. Yeah, I think I got it correct. Light bulb by Thomas Edison, the telephone by Alexander Graham Bell. Right. So this is what they call the first ever product, first ever technology, first ever thing that is being invented. So that is what we call the invention. While when you have the extension, okay, extension are actually introduce different applications or usages of existing products and services. Okay, like you have, okay, Alexander Graham Bell has invented the telephone. Okay, but then from the telephone you have the extension. Okay, not just the telephone that can actually dial, right? Then you can have that, before we have the smartphone, we have the handphones or cell phone they call it. Okay, that you can actually, or mobile phone, right? That is not what they call stuck on the desk or on the wall. Okay, so that is when you are actually mobilizing that particular phone. So that is an extension of the telephone. Or even the light bulb. Last time it is just a light bulb, but now you have many kinds of lights, isn't it? Like LED bulb, LED lights. You have the long version or the short version, whatever shape there are. So those are actually extension. Okay, well, when you talk about the application, this is actually a replication of existing concept. Okay, that means it is something that not really about a product, but rather a concept itself. Okay, like for example, the franchise. Okay, a franchise is actually a concept when you have that Pizza Hut, for example, okay, or even KFC. So there are many other shops can also duplicate that kind of concept, right? Which is fast food concept. Okay, and then you have the synthesis. Synthesis is actually a combination of existing concept into new usage by adding some convenience stores, cafe to the petrol station. Okay, so you are actually making the what you wanted to duplicate earlier into something better with some added values. All right, that is when instead of just having the normal petrol kiosk or petrol station, you add that convenience stores, okay, some cafe, and then drive-through also are also been attached together with the petrol station nowadays, isn't it? Okay, so that is synthesis. So you can do innovation in either invention, extension, duplication, or the synthesis. Okay, now let us look at the intensity of innovation. So it can be a radical innovation or innovation that is incremental. Okay, so a radical innovation, normally it is something that is big, all right? You can say that it's radical. It's like a fundamental rethink, or it can be based on some disruptive technologies, experimentation, or even play or make believe thing, all right? And it normally need to be nurtured for long periods, all right? And can be worse initial performance, but then later on it can be potential big gains. All right, so this radical innovation comes with something that can actually give impact to the whole world. All right, like for example, the um, invention or the creation of the internet, where it can be used at many what they call it, devices, and it can be used in many ways, okay, of doing things. And then this incremental innovation, on the other hand, these are actually a steady improvement. The word incremental itself, right? So it will be based on some sustaining technologies, okay, obedience to the culture, routines and norms. But it, although it's incremental, it can also be rapidly implemented. All right, that means perhaps you can actually implement it from one location to another location, and then it grew bigger. Okay, and normally it will have these immediate gains. Okay, and typically it will also develop some customer loyalty because people don't like to change drastically. Okay, so with this incremental innovation, the changes or this innovation are actually done slowly, like we call this steady improvement or steady changes on the things that are being done. Okay, so now what are the innovation examples? Okay, radical can be like the wheels itself, the electricity, like I told you, the wireless technology, the internet. Okay, while the incremental innovation can be as simple as like the invention or the innovation of the paper cups, right, the ballpoint pen, the electric toothbrush, okay, the electric toys, some computer games and so on. Okay, now let's move to the sources of innovation. Where can you get, or where can you actually acquire the source of this innovation? First, it can be within the industry itself or within the company. So typically in the organization itself, the sources of innovation always comes from unexpected occurrence. Right? This is where there's an opportunity which arises from an unexpected event or discovery, okay, or most of the time it happened by accident, right? So there are many companies are actually inventing or actually selling or create a product based on a product failure in the initial stage, okay, and somehow or other they accidentally produce something else. So that product that are being accidentally produced can be actually a new product or innovation. Okay, next, it can be also through some incongruities. Okay, this is where there is this what they call the gap between what is and what should be, which arise whenever a difference exists between expectations and reality. Okay, so this incongruity is also something that you want to create something but it turns out to be something else, right? But that can be an opportunity also for you to sell the product, right? So there is also a discrepancy between reality and what everyone assume is real, or between what is and what ought to be. Okay, then you can create an innovative opportunity. Example, people thought that the invention of the television would see the demise of movie theaters, but then movie theaters have since evolved and also are still attracting movie goers, right? So it is not necessarily like, okay, people scared that if you create a television, the bigger the TV, now you have like 70 inches, 70 to 106 inches and whatsoever, and thought that maybe after this people will no longer go to the movie theaters. But somehow or other, that people are still going, that during the MCO people cannot go to the cinema. Right now it is open and many people always go and watch in the cinema. Next is the process needs. This is still in the industry or the company itself, yeah, which the process need require entrepreneurs to innovate and also answer particular needs, all right, such as when a weak link is evident in a particular process, an opportunity is present to the person or the company that willing to supply the missing link. All right, like for example, the sugar-free products or the time-saving devices like microwave oven and so on. Okay, so because of the process needs, it actually happened to somehow or other create an opportunity. Okay, to either you create that new product to solve that particular missing link just now, or you can also sell off. If let's say over the process that thing actually been accidentally produced, so you still can sell those products. Like I think you all know how they do extract the petroleum from the raw oil. I don't know how do you call it. Is it raw oil? All right. So in order for you to actually get that petroleum, there are many processes that need to be done, and along the way they produce different kind of gas. So that gases, all right, can be actually because of the process needs, and you still can sell those gases, right? And those gases are also actually can be used for other equipments or other engines. Next one is through the structural change. It is caused by industry and market changes due to the new developments such as advances in the technology. Okay, like business is ready for an innovative product, service, or approach to the business when the underlying foundation of the industry or market shifts. All right, for example, like the rest homes. Now, they are increasing in demand, and also the spaces, yeah, at the race home, because as children are busy working, you can't get children anymore lah, because when the parents are old, all right, so this their children are unable to take care of their parents anymore. Okay, and then what they do is that they need to send their parents to these rest homes, or the children also, because the parents are busy working, both husband and wife are working, so the mother and father cannot take care of their children. So that is also the need because of the structural change here. Last time, once you get married, then woman will always stay at home and then become the housewife and to nurture the kids and the children, so they don't have to work outside anymore, only the father go to work. But then now, because of this structural change, right, both parents are working, so who's going to take care of the kids? So that is when the parents send the kids to the childcare center. All right. Now, there can also be sources of innovation within the social environment itself, right? You can first look at the demographic changes. Due to these changes on demographic, all right, the population size, the age structure, composition, employment level, education, income, all right, these create more innovative opportunities. Okay. The next one is through the perceptual changes, because people perceive things differently nowadays. All right, you know that society's general assumptions, attitudes, and beliefs always change. Okay, last time they don't accept this kind of thing, now they start to accept it. Right, and it can also cause mood swings and also major changes in some ideas. Example, like last time when we talk about gymnasium or gym, right, these are only for people that are wanted to have that muscles on their body, or for those fat people to lose some weight. All right, but that is no longer the concept, because even the tiniest or the thinnest people also go to the gym. It is not only just for losing weights or building muscles, but it is just part of their lifestyle to be healthy, right, and also physically fit. Okay, so these are some of the perceptual changes that happen lah. Right, next one is because of the new knowledge. Okay, this is actually the basis of development of something brand new. Okay, with the advances in scientific and also non-scientific knowledge, which can create new products and new markets. Okay, like example, the flat panel TV. Okay, portable handphone, of course you have the smartphone nowadays. Okay, and so on. Lastly, for this chapter, let's look at what are the link, okay, between the creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship itself. Like I mentioned in the earlier of this particular video, I told you that entrepreneurs are the ones that actually create new products, okay, where these are the ideas or the creativity or the innovation that entrepreneurs have made, okay, in order to produce or make their products superior or a new product to the market or to the world. All right, so you can see that how the entrepreneur, okay, the entrepreneurial environment here, with the ability to be creative, okay, and then ability to spot or look into the opportunities, they create, okay, they have the invention, or they do that, this what they call the innovation. Okay, so as I told you, creativity itself is actually the ability to develop new ideas and discover new ways of looking at problems and opportunities. All right, so it can be done by generating useful and also unique ideas, and then after that, from the ideas that you have, you turn that ideas into reality. Okay, while innovation is actually the ability to apply creative solutions to the problems and opportunities to enhance and also enrich the people's life. Meaning to say, from the creativity, you have the innovation. then you must have entrepreneurs, of course, because these are actually people who marry their creative ideas with the purposeful action and structure of a business. Then you have the entrepreneurships, which the result of a systematic process of applying this creativity and also innovation to the needs and opportunities in the marketplace. So they all have to, what they call it, come together. All right. Of course, you need the entrepreneur first. Okay. Then the entrepreneur will think creatively, or perhaps the entrepreneurs may not know that they are actually entrepreneurs, because some people, they can think creatively, they can do the innovation, but then they do not know how to do the business. Okay, so that is when, if let's say you have a product, you have a very good innovation, but you do not know how to sell it, you do not know how to market it, make it available to everybody, then there is no such thing as entrepreneurship. Okay, because in entrepreneurship, then you will be able to see that with this particular new innovation, with the new things that are being created, okay, you are able to generate more profits, not only just for profit to yourself or to the company, but also you want to make societies living in a very convenient ways, in modern technology, or in a better world. Okay, you can just simply say that for a betterment of the whole world. Right, so that is about creativity, innovation, entrepreneurs, and also entrepreneurships. Okay, so with that, we finish this particular chapter, and then later on, if you have any questions, do ask me in our Telegram chat. Okay, thank you guys. Bye bye.